Good morning, students. To know about the economy of any country, there is a need to study its sectors. Here on this page, you can see different pictures. In all these pictures, people are engaged in different activities. Here, people are engaged in manufacturing of bricks, shopkeeping, a postman giving services, coolie, and here women are engaged in farming. They are taking out cotton from cotton plants. All these activities are the part of different sectors, and the title of our chapter is Sectors of the Indian Economy. Which are the sectors? Mainly there are three sectors of economy. First one is primary sector. Primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. First of all, I will explain about primary sector. Primary sector involves those activities by which something is obtained from nature. Means when we get something from nature by exploiting it, that is activity of the primary sector. For example, agriculture. We grow crops on land. They are dependent on natural factors like rainfall, sunshine, and climate. In same way, dairy. In dairy, we are dependent on the biological process of animals and the availability of fodder. Agriculture, dairy, fishing, mining. Minerals are extracted from the earth and they are not made by humans. They are automatically available in the earth. Mining, forestry, all these are activities of the primary sector. The activities by which something is obtained from nature, they are the activities of a primary sector. Mainly agriculture, dairy, fishing, mining, and forestry. Since most of the natural products we get are from agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, this sector is also called agriculture and related sector. This sector is also called agriculture and related sector. Next, there is secondary sector. Secondary sector covers those activities in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing. Secondary sector includes manufacturing. When we convert the raw material into finished products, that is activity of secondary sector. When the raw material which is obtained from nature is converted into finished product, that activity is of secondary sector. In short, we can say manufacturing is activity of secondary sector. We get cotton from cotton plant, but cotton is converted into cloth. Manufacturing. Secondary sector involves manufacturing. For example, making cotton, making cloth from cotton, furniture from wood, vehicles from steel and iron, In all these, you can see that the raw material is converted into finished product. So what is secondary sector? Secondary sector involves manufacturing. In this sector, the raw material is converted into finished products. After secondary sector, there is tertiary sector. Tertiary sector. Tertiary sector provides services to the people. The sector which provides goods and services to primary and secondary sector, that is known as a tertiary sector. The sector which provides goods and services is known as a tertiary sector. For example, transportation, communication, education, health, trade, etc. All these activities are of tertiary sector. Suppose goods are produced, crops are grown, but there is a need to carry those crops from one place to another, grains from one place to another. There is need of transportation, and transportation is activity of tertiary sector. To increase business or to develop marketing, there is a need to communicate to a large number of people, and communication is activity of tertiary sector. By education and health, by providing good education and good health facilities, services are provided to people. And trade is also activity of tertiary sector. So what is tertiary sector? The sector which provides goods and services, that is known as tertiary sector. For example, transportation, communication, education, health and trade. Actually all these sectors, they are related to each other. If there is development of primary sector, secondary sector, automatically there will be development of tertiary sector. If there will be development of tertiary sector, automatically primary and secondary sector would develop. Means all these three sectors are interrelated. Actually the tertiary sector doesn't provide goods. It's given. Tertiary sector doesn't produce a good, but they are an add or a support for the production process. For example, goods that are produced in the primary or secondary sector would need to be transported by trucks or trains and then sold to the wholesale and retail shops. So what is tertiary sector? The sector which provides services, that is tertiary sector. Here you can see table 2.1. You have to complete it. And next you can see different examples are given. According to their work, you have to categorize them into different sectors. Are they working in primary, secondary or tertiary sector? The various production activities in the primary, secondary and tertiary sectors produce a very large number of goods and services. Also, the three sectors have a large number of people working in them to produce these goods and services. In our country, so many goods are manufactured, so many services are provided. So how can we count that how many goods or services are provided and what is their economic value? To understand it, there is a need to know this whole process. Means how do we count the various goods and services? Whenever we count goods and services, we make sense only to include the final goods and services. Whenever we have to find that how many goods are produced, how many services are provided in our country, what is their economic value, we count only the final goods and services, means finally which are given to people. Here example is given. Take for instance a farmer who sells wheat to a flour mill for rupees 8 per kg. The mill grinds the wheat and sells to the flour to a biscuit company for rupees 10 per kg. The biscuit company uses the flour and things such as sugar and oil and make 4 packets of biscuits. It sells biscuits in the market to the consumer for rupees 60, means 15 rupees per packet. Biscuits are the final goods that reach the consumers. Yes. Process of counting various goods and services. Various goods and services. Example is given of biscuits. First of all, farmer sell wheat at rupees 8 per kg. Okay. Then the mill owner grind that wheat. Farmer sell wheat. Then mill owner grinds that wheat and sells at it 10 rupees per kg. Means that is flour. Then mill owner sells that flour to a bakery. Baker adds some more ingredients, suppose of 22 rupees, other ingredients in it, and make biscuits. Then baker sells it to shopkeeper. Then shopkeeper sells those biscuits with rupees 60. Now what is the final value of biscuit? It is 60 rupees. We can't say that we have to add all these 8, 10, 18 plus 22, 40 plus 60, 100. If we calculate the value of all, farmer sold it at rupees 8, mill owner sold that at rupees 10, baker sold at rupees 50, baker added some more ingredients and sold it at high rate, and then shopkeeper sells it at 60 rupees. So if we calculate the whole value, it increases up to 100 rupees, but the final value of biscuit is only 60 rupees. So we will not count all these, we will count only its final value. Baker add ingredients of 22 rupees and sell to the shopkeeper at rupees 50, and shopkeeper sells at rupees 60. So 60 is the final value. But why is this so? Because intermediate goods are used up in producing final goods and services. Wheat, flour, other ingredients, all these are intermediate goods. The value of final goods already includes the value of all the intermediate goods that are used in making the final good. That's why only the value of final goods is calculated, not of the intermediate goods. What are intermediate goods? The goods which are used to make up the final good. So we don't count the value of intermediate goods, we count the value of only final goods. And this is done to avoid double counting. Students, today you learned about the 3 sectors of economy: primary, secondary and tertiary, and all these sectors are interdependent. The development of one sector depends on the development of other. Then double counting is avoided and only the value of final goods is calculated.